episode.
Kuna baadhi ya vizee siku hizi waliiyadhu billah, lakini yapo mzee miaka 60 70 iwazunguko, unamuona pengine ana vijisichana vidogo vidogo miaka 6 7, ana vitoto vya miaka 10 20, anaitwa sponsor. Mzee ana mvi, amekuja amevaa michain, ana chain za bling bling, amevaa vitu huku, mzee ametoboa kipuli. Hii si mzee.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Quote of the day. Imam Malik bin Anas said, "I am but a man. I make mistakes sometimes, and I am correct sometimes. So examine my opinions and accept anything that agrees with the book and sunnah, and leave anything that does not agree with the book and sunnah."
On the next episode,
watu wanasimulia kwamba mmoja katika watu wenye ibada sana katika Banu Israel alikuwa akimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu na Mwenyezi Mungu hamuitikii. Na sio kawaida, kwa sababu idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ud'uni astajib lakum. Huyu bwana akamuuliza mama yake, kwa nini mimi naomba na Mwenyezi Mungu haniitikii? Akamwambia, kwani unaomba vipi? Akamwambia, mimi naomba nazungumza nikiangalia juu, nikimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu yuko juu. Mamake akamwambia, hapo ndo unapokosea. Wewe omba na uso wako uko chini, omba na unyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia. Yule bwana akafanya hivyo, na polepole akaanza kupata yale mambo ambayo alikuwa akiyaomba kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. 2019 ambao ni sambamba na tarehe 22 mwezi wa Dhulqaada kulingana na kalenda ya Kiislamu. Tunakupeperushia vipindi vyetu moja kwa moja kutoka kitovu cha jiji la Nairobi, jengo la msikiti wa jamii ya ofisi zetu Horizon TV. Kwako mtazamaji mpendwa, rasmi na kukaribisha katika kitengo cha kwanza cha kipindi chetu Sabah Show, ambapo ni uchambuzi wa magazeti, nikiwa kabisa na timu yangu ambayo iko tayari kuweza kuchambua magazeti kuanzia pale mbele, Leila Duale, Mzee Ali na pamoja na Bwana Abubakar, ambao ni wachanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa na sera. Kwa hiyo mtazamaji, karibu. Kumbuka kwamba unaweza kututegea katika social media platforms zetu, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, na vile vile unaweza kutupata pia katika tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke. Endelea kutuma comments zako na tutaweza kuziangalia moja kwa moja, nikianza na gazeti la The Star. Pale habari iliyopewa kipaumbele ni kwamba judge orders Kiambaa to pay state 300 million shillings. The former Nairobi County Finance Chief could also lose millions in assets which he acquired during his tenure at City Hall, and the story continues on page 4 and 5, ambapo inasema kwamba anti-corruption judge Hedwig Ongundi ordered former Nairobi County Finance Chief Jimmy Kiambaa to pay the government 317 million for unexplained assets. Mimi swali langu ni kwamba kwa sasa pesa zapotea county hatuna pesa bado ambazo zimepewa, na kuna hawa ambao machifu wetu katika ofisi za finance wana assets ambazo they cannot be explained. Where are we headed as a country? If I may start with you, Leila.
Assalamu alaikum. As a country, these are trying times because, number one, when we have the very people who've been entrusted to guard our ministries are the same people who are looting government money, it simply shows that there's a problem when it comes to integrity, there's a problem when it comes to perhaps the very basics of qualifications, because these people clearly, they lack the basic merit to guard whatever has been entrusted to them. So as a country, we need to ensure, for example, whatever the judge is doing, it's really commendable, because it's been a long time since we had people who've been charged with corruption scandals being asked to pay back the money to the government. Yesterday when we watched the news, we could clearly see the amount of wealth this person has. Look at his house. A house worth 32 billion. Yet you have a person in Kenya who pays rent around 500 bob per month. These are really tragic times. Yet we have Kenyans who are still sleeping on the streets. So really, as a country, we need to wake up. This is something that we need to wake up from, and to ensure that these people are charged and they receive the maximum conviction that they should be given.
Yeah, sure. Nikielekea kwenye gazeti la Standard pale, more cabinet secretaries face arrest as Uhuru picks Ukur. President's appointment of Yatani as acting Treasury Cabinet Secretary seen as a stopgap measure following revelations that EACC and DCI are closing in on other cabinet secretaries. Na story hiyo pia inaendelea pale ukurasa wa 6. Pengine nikirusha kwako, more cabinet secretaries could be in trouble. Is the country headed now in the right direction now that unajua Rotich ameshaondolewa sasa katika power? Hawa wengine ambao wanatusababishia madhara kulingana na fedha za nchi yetu, unaona tunaelekea sehemu nzuri kama nchi ya Kenya?
Yeah, I think the nation is headed on a right note, especially having our Director of Public Prosecutions. He's doing a good work, and we should go down to more people who are being corrupt, down even to the county government. So we have people looting money, people giving jobs to their relatives. Such kinds of impunity shouldn't be let to reign in this country. And also, at one time, the Constitution attempted to, talk about the challenge of people being given jobs which are they're not worth, as Leila said. The Constitution said that there was that policy that President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy president had said from the beginning that they won't appoint politicians to the post of cabinet secretaries. At first they were keen on it. Then they gave some close allies the political benefits, 2 or 3. Then it erupted. You see, I think they should go back to that. Because when you give politicians those posts, they'll tend to help their close friends, or they'll take advantage of those the posts that they are given. So I think we should give these cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries to technocrats, so that maybe there will be an improvement in the kind of job that they do, and the DPP, not only for the recovery of assets. For example, Mr. Kiamba, politicians, what they do, they steal money and they go and hide it in banks of Switzerland, whereby no one can even know. We should have recovery of assets. Not only should these people be jailed and sentenced if they are found guilty of the economic crimes they are accused of, but we should also have recovery of assets. For if a person has been accused of stealing 1 billion shillings, found guilty of it, it should go down that the person repays that billion shillings. Yeah.
We've been talking about corruption for so long. Graft, Mzee Ali. What do you think? Kuna siku hapa niliuliza, should the government get an overhaul?
I think the major issue with corruption all along before has been the issue of whenever there is a problem of corruption, we go for the small fish. Now there is a change. We have seen the big fish, we are starting there, which is a very, very good move. We have to support this move first. The only problem then after that, the procedures and the mechanism of recovery are also very, very long. It's very hard, and these people, they know how to use their lawyers and what tactics and all that. So if there is a way also, if we can improve on our legislation whereby somebody who has a problem like that within 90 days or 60 days, the whole case from start to end is finished, so that we can quickly recover our money. That can be wonderful.
Nikiangalia kwenye gazeti la People Daily, habari iliyopewa kipaumbele ni kwamba why Uhuru chose Yatani. Labour Cabinet Secretary considered a safe pair of hands that will guide the crucial finance docket in a Jubilee government that is rocked by factual political fights. If I may ask you, Leila, why do you think the president chose Ukur Yatani?
One thing that you must note is the treasury position, the treasury seat. For once, during the 2017 elections, when the DP and Uhuru sat down, obviously, they are doing scramble and partition. Huyu ni wa kwenu, mpei. So when we look at Yatani, this is a man who's not controversial. And there's a problem in the Jubilee government right now. When the DP, he feels like he's being isolated. And what is Uhuru doing on the other end? It's either my way or the highway. So he took Yatani, in my own opinion, because the guy is not controversial. He does not come out clearly on whom he supports. And obviously, what Uhuru is trying to do is to safeguard his own interest. It's to ensure that there is some bit of sanctity in his office. You know? So this is a good move from Uhuru Kenyatta. It's a very calculated move. And again, it's time. Like Henry Rotich, as many people are saying out here, he was the right-hand man of the DP. So again, in mambo kurudisha mkono. So the minute the government and generally this country stops politicizing these ministries, will move forward, because people will be appointed based on merit, based on qualification, based on integrity. And when we do this, definitely we will see the good works that these men are doing. So Uhuru is right, and in my opinion, this guy is good. Actually, he should just confirm the appointment. He should not be acting. Yeah.
Maybe if I can come to you, Mzee Ali, on the same issue, kwa sababu Leila amesema amesupport kabisa Uhuru na amemchagua Yatani kwa sababu he is another man not of any, he is controversial. Gazeti la Taifa Leo pale habari iliyopewa kipaumbele pale ni kwamba Uhuru apunguzia Ruto keki kwa kuwa amemchukulia mtu kutoka kwake. Je, unaona pengine hii fight ni between the superior one? I have more people, you have less people.
Normally, when Uhuru and Ruto came together, there was an alliance and a sort of an informal agreement whereby ile keki iligawanywa, especially after they won the seat. Mimi nipe position zangu hizi na wewe chukua position zangu. But now there is a change after the handshake. You know, all Kenyans are Kenyan. Everybody has a right to get any position provided he qualifies na kuna integrity. So hii mambo ya kusema kuwa watu fulani because of this and that, and you know Uhuru did something wonderful, because despite kuwa Ruto mtu wake hakuchaguliwa, but at the same president also didn't appoint someone from his own, you see.
Yes.
So he appointed a neutral person, and this is the way to go. This is the way whereby we need now to look beyond this group or that person, as what Laila said. We just look at integrity and qualification, and that's the end of it.
If you can see on the Daily Nation, Abakar, if I can come to you, wamesema Uhuru's surprise wild card, and it's on the same story. Why do you think people are surprised?
First, talking about Ukur Yatani's
appointment as acting CS, you know, I believe that it's not only the handshake that caused the miscodes between Jubilee. It started soon after elections, because you have two people who are working together. They have formed an alliance, but they have different agenda. One person wants to leave a legacy, the other one wants to secure a position in the next election. I think that's where the wrangle started, and then the issue of handshake brought more problems, you know. But I think the president is more focused on appointing people who can do their job well, you know. He looks for people who can work with him towards the Big Four agenda and such. But unfortunately, we'll say that there is a split, because there is also another political group that wants to, you know, gain from the elections of the coming year. I think the president has made the right choice, because, and also in the appointment of these seats, you know, we should look at the previous records of a person. You know, if at any one time a person is a suspect at any one time in, you know, such cases, the person should not be considered for that position. But Ukur Yatani is, I think he can suit the place well, and previously he has worked well in the labor ministry. So far, we have not had problems. You know, sometimes we find a CS is doing bad in a certain ministry, probably maybe education. and then the person is taken to sports and there are still problems, but I think this is a person who is capable of doing the job, and he's a man of integrity, I would say so. I think he's the
He
right
is a man
person,
of
yeah.
integrity, according to what you say. According to a question here that's coming from one of our viewers, is they're asking, is Ukur Yatani really cut out for the job? Leila, is he?
In my opinion, look at his qualification. The guy has a bachelor's in economics from the university, from Egerton University. He has done his master's in public policy. So I think when we talk about education, the guy has a very good background. And in terms of, he's been in the government. He knows the ways of the government, in my opinion. And so far, so good. We've not had any control. Actually, many people did not know he exists up until he was appointed.
Yes, yes.
So this is a good move, because if the president would have appointed someone who's controversial, then tungejua the treasury kama wa Kenya deni ya wa China sijui sasa tungebeba wenyewe. So the guy, he's okay. He's okay.
He's cut out for the job.
Also to add on it,
I think we should get a more person who is more has more knowledge in treasury and finance. Yeah, Ukur Yatani is a good character.
The most important thing is a person at the CS position, he needs to go more than his educational qualification. And this country has proven that it's not only the papers that do the ruling. We've just heard Bob Collymore, who's run this. He was not even a graduate, and look at what he did, you see. So it's not the only thing. And in any case, in a CS position, you have a PS and you have a lot of technocrats under you who guide you and shape you what you want to do. So you need to look at a totality of a person, not one area of focus, you know. Like what Leila said, her experience in the public policy, he has even, we've had people like Mudavadi, we've had people who had hold that position and they were not anywhere in the financial sector and they did quite well, you see. So it's not the only fact, you know. That's my take, you know. You need to look at, because the president had to balance this person is a neutral in terms of which community he comes, in terms of his qualification, in terms of his integrity. You cannot get a perfect person who would be top of the top in all those. You have to balance somewhere in between. Yes.
Okay, let's just take a short break. Mtazamaji, endelea kutegea and continue sending in your comments on our social media platforms at Horizontv Kenya, Citizen, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, na vile vile unaweza kutupata katika tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke. Tunarejea muda usiokuwa mfupi.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
kuna baadhi ya vizee siku hizi waliiyadhu billah, lakini yapo mzee miaka 60 70 iwazunguko, unamuona pengine ana vijisichana vidogo vidogo miaka 6 7, ana vitoto vya miaka 10 20, anaitwa sponsor. Mzee ana mvi, amekuja amevaa michain, ana chain za bling bling, amevaa vitu huku, mzee ametoboa kipuli. Hii si mzee ana hikma, huu ni mzee mpuzi. Mzee ana hikma ni yule wa kuelekeza vijana barabara ambapo kwamba ni nzuri.
If a person is wearing a job ID card with his picture, and the card is about 1 inch in size, and he stands next to us or behind us in salah, would it affect our salah? This is similar to the previous question. No, brother or sister, it would not affect your salah. It would not invalidate it. Affecting your salah means with regards and respect to invalidating it. It will not nullify your salah. But if it's affecting your salah with regards and respect to distraction and like a bit of withering away your attention and concentration, then that is actually a means of distracting one's salah and his concentration. And this is not a small sin. A lot of people come with flashy clothes, or clothes with animate pictures, or clothes with jerseys, football jerseys people wearing. A lot of scholars do not advise this in salah, in particularly in salah. You have to wear decently so that you can concentrate fully in front of your Almighty. You're having a meeting and a spiritual chat with your Creator. It's a hotline, take it that way. So placing destructive objects or things and elements that will actually divert people's attention and the concentration, these are not accepted. And such a person should remove his job ID card and place it in his pocket, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Let's brighten up your morning. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Waswahili wanasema chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Uhura na hii ni Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Na mtazamaji wa The Premium Islamic TV Station, karibu tena katika kitengo cha pili cha The Sabah Show. Leo ikiwa ni Alhamisi tarehe 25 mwezi wa Julai mwaka 2019, unatizama The Sabah Show na Mariam Mwacharo, na tayari tushaanza kitengo cha uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tumemaliza cha kwanza, tuko katika cha pili. Iwapo unajiunga nasi kwa sasa, hujachelewa, unaweza kutupata katika kurasa zetu za mitandao Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @Horizontv Kenya, na vile vile pia tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke. Niko na kikosi changu tayari, tukiendelea na pale gazeti la Star. Kuna habari pale ambayo it's very interesting. Inasema no microminis on campus, MKU tells students. Mount Kenya University yesterday circulated a memo detailing the dress code for students. According to the memo, students should not wear revealing clothes or pants to school. I don't know which kind of pants, but well, it continues on page 3 and says the Dean of Students, Martin Mwiruri, asked students not to wear caps or hats during lectures, in the library, laboratory or when addressing members of staff. Nikikumbuka vizuri, juzi kulikuwa na waziri mmoja alikuwa yuataka universities ziwe na uniform. Do you think we should adopt such a system?
Well, in my opinion, first of all, we're supposed to bring back the sanctity in the universities. Because again, we cannot behave it as if a university is just it's just a village where people just come in and go out the way they want, the way they want to look like. Ukitaka kuvaa leso, haya basi tembea. Ukitaka kuvaa kofia, basi tembea. These are things that really they reflect they reflect whatever that is happening in the campus. People are complaining about the youth, the university students, whatever is happening, and we might look at the dressing code as a very minute and small thing, but in actual fact it is a very big thing. Because again, how a person dresses really displays who they really are. So we cannot have people just walk into a lecture hall in a hat, in a cap, written all sorts of things. When I was in campus, there was a very serious professor by the name Professor Sifuna, and he would tell students, you cannot come in my class, it's as if you're going to a disco. That's what he used to tell students, and he will chase you out. You come to the exam room like that, you won't sit for that paper. And to a certain extent, because we are trying to breed a group of professionals, how can a professional person dress in such a way, in a miniskirt, in sagging trousers? So I think that that students should dress in an official way. For example, like Strathmore University, they have a dressing code. They wear official, and there are very many students in that university. So
School of Law in Kenya.
Yes, they dress really well.
So do you think we should adopt the uniform policy that was being proposed or rumored around?
I think Basically, we cannot reach the stage of giving uniform to university students. They are adults, they are matured people, but decency is very important. You don't expect someone is going to the university na trouser iko paka hapa chini, matako yote yako nje. It doesn't make sense, you know. Are you having a trouser on or you're having an underwear on, you know? So definitely lazima kuwe na certain standards, which I support those kind of standards. But also we should not limit to this or that. Everybody knows what is decent, you know. Yani, decency starts from the home. Yani, parents also, it's not even about university. If you see your son or your daughter going out, you need to tell him, you know, how can you go out like this, you know. So this is something which is supposed to be over the board. Yani, it doesn't matter where you are going, you know.
You should wear something that actually represents the person that you want people to see.
Exactly.
Hii inanikumbusha katika mafunzo yetu katika dini ya Kiislamu tunaambiwa aura ni nini kati ya mwanamke na mwanamke. Auratul mar'ati jami'un badaniha ila alwajhi wal kaffain. Yani uchi wa mwanamke ni mwili wake mzima isipokuwa uso wake, wajhi na vitanga viwili vya mkono. Maybe people should adopt that. Na auratul rajuli ma baina surrati wa rukbati. But now people should not start walking shirtless. Tukiendelea gazeti lile The Star pale ukurasa wa 10 kuna habari ya kusikitisha kidogo. No rain as month ends, says Meteorological Department. The month is expected to end without widespread rains. In their latest forecast, the Meteorological Department says rainfall will be experienced only in Western Kenya, with the rest of the country remaining cool and dry. The prediction follows 3 weeks of dry weather across the country that returned dust and dried up crops in many places. We are already having some sufferings over maize, and we've been told that we could possibly buy food at a higher cost. What could you think could the country actually do to be able to save, you know, us from adverse weather patterns? Abubakar.
Yeah, you know, the issue of changing climate, we have had changing climate because in the before years you will expect that in a certain season it's a rainy season, but now you expect rain, it doesn't come. So I think this has a reason from deforestation, pollution, and such kinds of thing coming to urbanization. Because,
do you think that we have ignored our environment?
I think we have, because we have people polluting rivers. You have people throwing industrial waste to Nairobi River. We have people cutting trees, you know, and building houses. Like for example, Professor Wangari Maathai advocated for Karura Forest. If not for her, Karura Forest will be full of skyscrapers. It will not be a forest anymore. So I think it has risen from deforestation and pollution and such. But you know, we cannot ignore the issue of modernization. We cannot say that we won't build houses, we won't build buildings because we have to save our trees. We should look for an alternative. For example, dams. If there is rain, we should have storage. We should have.
Leila, you look like you want to say something.
Okay, in the Big Four agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta, we talk of food security, and times have changed. Times have changed, and like before, when we would know that this is a rainy season, farmers would go and put in place whatever mechanism they require, but it's no longer like that. So as a country, we're supposed to adopt extreme strategic plans to ensure that the issue of food scarcity does not come in, because a hungry nation is an angry nation. So the government should come up with strategies. For example, let's talk of Professor Lonyangapo, the governor. When we look at whatever he's doing, he started irrigation schemes in Western Pokot. In West Pokot, this is a place where people would assume it's very dry. These are dry lands. But he's adopted irrigation. Why can't the government give funds to farmers? Why can't the government put in place irrigation schemes at a subsidized price so that the farmers cannot feel the pinch of missing the rain? So we cannot go up and bring rain down. It's impossible. So we are supposed to adapt mechanisms to safeguard the safety of this country in terms of food security.
Let's take a look at the Standard, page 3. Iconic Luangi Beach is no more. Now, bulldozers rolled into Kisumu's second largest lakeside destination, Luangi Beach, on Tuesday night, bringing down popular fish-eating sites that attracted visitors for decades. Watchmen guarding a long line of lakeside food kiosks famous for fresh tilapia ran for their dear lives as bulldozers reduced the aging structures, some put up since 1980. Now, I know tourism is very important to the country, but whilst development is continuing, continuing. Do you think maybe our government is possibly failing the citizens? Like, you know, we want to develop, yes, but we are now bringing down some assets for the country. Mzee Ali?
There is a catch-22 there, because in one way we want to build tourism, and in the same way people should not just go anywhere and just build a plot, because I have been lucky to be there, I know the place. But this is, you know, people are just building sheds left, right, center without owning the land or getting license. Now the government, it reaches somewhere, you can't just allow that one, because then where is the end to it, you know? So there have to be proper planning, proper distribution of the land, and if something is being built, it should be to the standard which is required. So I think, to me, it's something in the right direction.
Kulikuwa na some people ambao walitolewa kutoka Pangani juzi na sasa ni Luangni, na serikali inasema kwamba in these both scenarios walikuwa wametoa warning to the people. What could we tell our Kenyans? Because it seems like Kenyans, we are also hard-headed people. Kwa sababu tukipewa warning ya kwamba development inakuja, we still don't move, and then we come to complain when our structures are demolished. Therefore, we run losses.
I think this is a failure on the side of the Ministry of Land, because this beach that was brought down, Kenya Railways claims to have ownership, or claim to be, you know, the land is kind of associated to them. Now it's not only, you know, when you want people that this is the land and they have, you know, they have camped there, they are doing their businesses there. You know, look at what happened in the coastal region when people were told they will be compensated for the land taken to build the SGR. I think on both sides, the government is having their land taken to some extent, and the citizens also are not being compensated for land whereby the government develops. So I think there should be serious land reforms. We have people owning thousands and acres of land in this country. We have others, we have been seeing land grabbing each and every day of the week, people grabbing schools, primary schools. So I think this is an issue that the Ministry of Land should address and should have, you know, laid policies in which we do not have disputes to do with the issues of land.
And to add on that, okay, we have the laws. The laws have been put in place. When we talk about compulsory acquisition of land, which have been put in, which has been clearly stipulated in our Lands Act, it displays the procedure in which the government should acquire land in a compulsory manner from its citizens. Number one, we talk about compensation. These people are supposed to be compensated before they are evacuated from that place, to give them an alternative. When we talk about the Pangani issue, what caught my eye was an old lady, a lady in her 70s, being chased away from her home at night. But then after reading that actually Mike Sonko had given them the alternative to give them money to compensate them before they moved, and they refused. Clearly, we have the issue of the right to housing vis-a-vis the right to development. Which one holds the day?
You know, the problem which the government is having, for example, when you do compensation, how do you do it? If you give someone 600,000, how will you use that money to go into another house, and he has multiple problems? The best way the government is supposed to do, if it is housing, they are supposed to build for them something else somewhere. Don't give them money and then shift them from there, put them there, and then build that place. That's the easiest way to do. But the moment you give someone money, here's a student who wanted to go to university, here's an hospital bill, here's this, within 2-3 months that money is gone. Where do you expect that man to go then after that, you see? So the policy, the strategy of transition from where you want to take someone to another, it's also a big problem. And you know, the government, some of the people in the government, they take advantage of that. Even some of the people who are compensated are not even the beneficiaries. You know, you find that money also get pocketed to somebody else. Yeah.
If we take a look at People Daily on page 8, we see a very interesting story since yesterday. Sholei tables proposal seeking to increase MPs numbers to 560. I can see you already smiling, Abakar. Even as debate on reduction of elective seats rages on, Parliament yesterday introduced a bill seeking to raise the number of MPs to 560 from the current 416. First, let me ask your comment, because you were smiling while I was reading the headline.
Yeah, you know, it's surprising what would lead someone to give such a suggestion, because already people are collecting signatures for the Punguza Mzigo initiative, because you're having too much money going into taxes. First, the idea of devolution was very correct, But, you know, we divided it too much, you know. We kind of devolved corruption to some extent. If for the 47 counties, I think we should only be having like 8 to 15 counties. In that, you'll take development to the villages and to such, and there is also monitoring and transparency and accounting for those people. Because you have seen when auditing is done each and every year, you see that a county has 1 billion unaccounted for, another one has 800 million unaccounted for. So I think first, we should not be talking about increasing the number of MPs, because already we should be considering the reduction of the, you know, politicians and people who are in this. Because when you say you're increasing the number of MPs or other political positions, you know, you are bringing, when you say you have a cabinet secretary, a principal secretary, and a chief administrative secretary, what's the work of that chief administrative secretary? Because you have people who are in offices, but they are doing little in their offices. They are receiving six-figure salaries at the end of the month, but they're doing very little, you know, just because someone is a political ally of someone. So I think we should be talking about the reduction nationwide, the reduction of the positions that we have, the reduction of the merging of constituencies, and, you know, having a proper devolution system in which we have transparency and accountability, so that we, as much as we are targeting on doing development, we do not end up having, you know, salaries which, you know, people are getting salaries which they shouldn't be getting.
Yeah, before I come to the two of you, there is a comment that has come in on Facebook. Kuna mmoja ananiambia, we are already burdened as a country. Sisi wenyewe hatuwezi kuwalipa wale walioko ofisini. Sasa hawa tukiwaongeza tutawalipa vipi? Lakini kwanza tutarejea, mtazamaji, tuchukue mapumziko mafupi. Tutakaporejea tutaendelea na uchambuzi wa magazeti. Usende mbali.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
watu wanasimulia kwamba mmoja katika watu wenye ibada sana katika Banu Israel alikuwa kimomba Mwenyezi Mungu na Mwenyezi Mungu hamuitikii. Na sio kawaida, kwa sababu idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ud'uni astajib lakum. Huyu bwana akamuuliza mama yake, kwa nini mimi naomba na Mwenyezi Mungu haniitikii? Akamwambia, kwani unaomba vipi? Akamwambia, mimi naomba nazungumza nikiangalia juu, nikimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu yuko juu. Mamake akamwambia, hapo ndo unapokosea. Wewe omba na uso wako uko chini. Omba na unyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia. Yule bwana akafanya hivyo, na polepole akaanza kupata yale mambo ambayo alikuwa akiyaomba kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Na mtazamaji, unaendelea kutazama The Sabah Show leo ikiwa ni Alhamisi, siku ya Stay Healthy, lakini hayo ni hapo baadaye. Unatizama uchambuzi wa magazeti. Nami wako ni Mariam Mwacharo. Kuna comments zinaendelea kuingia kwenye Facebook pale nikitazama. Kuna SCH Neida, Odhiambo Charles, Ansari Zainab, Yunus Rawi wanasema wote wanatutegea, wanatupata vizuri. Shukran. Na kuna mmoja aliuliza pale kabla hatujachukua mapumziko. Anasema tayari sisi wenyewe Kenya hatuna pesa za kuwalipa wale viongozi ambao wako kwenye uongozi kwa sasa. Na sasa kama kuna pendekezo la kuongeza viongozi wengine, kwendaje?
It's almost 10 years since we promulgated the constitution. And this constitution has attracted both advantages and disadvantages, its pros and cons, in equal measure. But the main problem that we have is the leaders whom we've put there to steer or to propel the agenda of devolution. When we talk about increasing the number of members of parliament, really that is mocking the Kenyans who are tarmacking day in, day out. As a country, we do not have the finances, we don't have the financial muscles to add people onto the paycheck. So we cannot do that. We cannot afford as a country to do that. And whatever Okuro Court is advocating for is kupunguza mizigo. Tutapunguzaje mizigo, yet other people who are in these positions are trying to instigate the whole idea of adding on to the mizigo itself. So devolution is working in other areas, it's not working in other areas because of the leaders. So what we are supposed to do, because the people who came up with this constitution, they had the best intention at heart. They're looking at Turkana, for example. They're looking at Kwale. These are counties which over the years have been disadvantaged in terms of their location, in terms of in terms of the fertility of the land, in terms of rains and whatnot. But devolution has come in place to ensure that these very counties get something from the government's kitty. The problem is the leaders. We cannot afford to add problem on top of a problem. We need to find solution. And the solution we need to come up with right now is to hold these leaders accountable. Article 10 of the Constitution talks about accountability, for example. What are we doing about it? We talk of public participations. But are the citizens of this country participating in terms of leadership? No. But we have the leaders there talking about increasing the number of MPs. We cannot afford to do that.
If I may add on that, you know, the major issue here is the government has been talking now when they employ new civil servants, they want to put them on contract and performance base. We should start at the parliament. The existing we know MPs who are sitting there for 5 years or even more than that, and they do nothing. They don't even talk or do anything. So we want to evaluate the leadership first. Whoever they are, we need to do the performance-based contract on the MPs first, before even we go down to the civil servant, and say, this MP was here, what has he been doing? What has he done to his people? You know? And does he meet the threshold for someone who we can entrust with public money? Before we even think about expanding or reducing, we need to cut these people out. We need to come out with mechanism whereby if a leader is not delivering, and we have seen, he can be technically be kicked out, you know. That's the way to go.
And that's the question that I almost asked. Like right now, we're taking steps towards, graft. When these people, have been tried in court and they've been found guilty, you propose that they return assets to the country. Should they be allowed back into power?
I think it's for them being allowed back to power, it's a no-go zone. That's something that is unacceptable. In developed countries, not even being found guilty of corruption or such, if you are found a suspect of corruption or graft or abuse of power or such economic crimes and related to the positions that you're holding, you have to first an automatic resignation. You have to automatically resign. But what do we see about happening in Africa, not only in Kenya? Someone is found, the person can't account for billions of shillings for taxpayers' money, but the person is still in office, is expecting an impeachment motion to come so that the person can evacuate the office. We should first have when one is a suspect of corruption or an economic crime, the person should resign from the seat, and we should in appointment of these seats, we should look at the previous record. If at any one time, not only were you found guilty, if you are a suspect at any one time, we should not be allowed into such positions.
We should take examples like some of the leaders in the developed countries when they're told to, when they're told that they're suspects to these cases, they just resign. They're like, no, I cannot continue to work because my people have found me incapable of working. On page 13, People Daily. Botswana First Lady praises Beyond Zero. That is some good news. First Lady Margaret Kenyatta was yesterday praised by Botswana counterpart Neo Jane Masisi for her commitment to improving the lives of vulnerable women, particularly through the Beyond Zero campaign. Lena, if I may ask you, as a woman yourself, you think women are more empowered today in Kenya because of the First Ladies?
In terms of the health sector, women are really, really empowered because we talk about the maternity fee. This was something that very many women could not afford. And once the First Lady introduced this thing, it has really helped the lives of very many women. Not only the women themselves in terms of their health, but even the children that they give birth to, because they are able to be given birth to in a conducive environment, in a place where they are able to be observed. So it is working and it is helping very many women. We look at the counties, again, in terms of devolution, who have been disadvantaged in terms of the health facilities. Women would walk for kilometers to just go into a safe place, into a clinic. But right now, she's tried in all aspects, in all angles, to ensure that these things are available, not only at a closer range, but even in terms of medication, in terms of, it has risen the mortality rate. Of the children. So it's working and it's doing a good job.
Yeah, if I can pose a question to the two gentlemen. Kuna mmoja hapa ameweza kuuliza, now that mama first lady ameweza kupongezwa kwa sababu ya Beyond Zero campaign in matters health, na sasa hospitali zetu kila siku tunaona kwamba zinazorota, amesema hivyo, facilities hazijajengwa vizuri. Do you think maybe the president should appoint the First Lady to take care of that?
No, the whole idea of devolution is so that people can the counties are given money to take care of their own hospitals. So you are the same person whom you are appointing the governor, and now you are saying that this governor is not delivering. So the same thing which Laila was talking about earlier, why do we bring in leaders who cannot deliver, At the end of the day, there is no way the president's wife will manage all the hospitals. It's just impossible. Her job was to subsidize which area which was lacking, which was a perfect thing to do. But then our main hospitals, we expect the county government to take care of them because they are given money every day to take care of them. Now, where does that money go? You find that a county government is paying more than 30-40% of the revenue to salaries. We are not supposed to have so big salaries and then the services are not delivered.
Abubakar, kuna story hapa ya afya. Wauzao maziwa na vyakula katika gazeti la Taifa Leo pale kurasa 4. Wauzao maziwa na vyakula kando ya njia wapewa onyo. Maafisa wa afya wa kaunti ya Nakuru wamewapa siku 7 wachuuzi wa maziwa na vyakula kando ya barabara wahame ama wachukuliwe hatua. Afisa wa afya ya umma Bi Elizabeth Kipotoo alisema jana mjini Nakuru kuwa wachuuzi hao wanahatarisha maisha ya wakazi, kwani mazingira wanayofanyia kazi yanaweza kusababisha magonjwa ya kipindupindu. Hivi juzi tulikuwa na mkurupuko, ama wengine wanasema mlipuko wa gonjwa la kipindupindu. Unadhani kwamba hatua kama hii ni salama kuchukua?
I think it's a good move, because in the recent past we have seen cholera outbreak each and every year, some times of the year, when you have people selling food on the streets, vehicles are passing there is dust everywhere, the environment itself is not conducive. It will work on the reduction of cholera cases and other diseases which come about by having food poisoning and such, taking food which is not fit for human consumption.
But don't you think the county government should actually also take measures to actually relocate them to somewhere else, because this is their source of livelihood? Leila?
Okay, in my opinion, as Kenyans, tuachukua vichwa ngumu jamani. Because we respect each other's hustle. It's okay, you're hustling, you're doing a good job, you're trying to make ends meet. But you cannot do that at the expense of other people. It's not that the government has not given them an alternative. I mean, there are open air markets, there are places in which they can go and set up their business. Let them get the health certificate. What is so hard with that? Let them wear the white aprons of which they refuse to wear. So, tusilie kila wakati tuseme serikali saidia. We do our part as citizens, because you're supposed to acquire the health certificate. There is a fee, and that fee if you don't pay it, how again will we have the people working for the government getting paid? How will we have the infrastructure? So pia Wakenya pia wanasumbua. So let them do their part and the government does its part. Now when we talk about accountability, when we talk about holding these people who are in the office accountable for each and everything that they do, we should come on the table with clean hands, as equity dictates. He who comes to equity must come to equity with clean hands. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at page 6. Gazeti hilo la Taifa Leo. Uhuru amrejeshea Magufuli dhahabu. Na uhusiano kati ya Kenya na Tanzania huenda ukakita mizizi hata zaidi baada ya hatua ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kumrejeshea Rais wa Tanzania John Magufuli dhahabu yenye thamani ya takriban milioni 100 iliyonaswa na polisi nchini. Kama mmekuwa mkifuatilizia kulikuwa na ng'ombe zetu ziliweza kupotea. Kuna mambo mengi, yani mitafaruku na tashwishi sintofahamu kati ya Kenya na Tanzania. Je, mnaona hili jambo la Uhuru kuregesha dhahabu back to Tanzania itaweza improve our relationship between the two countries? Ziali?
That is something very strange from Kenya. But it's very beautiful. I want first hiyo dhahabu ipimwe kuconfirm but then the truth is that's a very goodwill gesture from Kenya. I mean, we need to praise our security officers because we know these things. We know many times where the security people, they go to a robbery scene and the first thing is to enrich their pockets themselves. So for them, you can imagine from the security at the airport to the top government officer, so the entrustment of that product paka ifike kwa Tanzania Magufuli, it's a very big thing which we need to praise our officers there. And also, I agree with you, we had a lot of problems with trading with Tanzania, but someone needs to start. By doing that, we are also now showing our neighbors that we have goodwill. So they would also, we expect to reciprocate. And I see that happening very fast.
From this act of returning the gold to Tanzania, I'll talk about the economic advantage of it all. Because Kenya and Tanzania, we are all parts and parcel of the East African community, which is a regional bloc. And when we talk in matters of trade, if the heads of the government are not in good terms, then there is no way we'll have a smooth flow in terms of trade. So it is a good move from President Kenyatta. And this will ensure that the relations between Tanzania and Kenya will be smoothened and will be able to do, because Tanzania has been a problem when it comes to the East African community. When we talk about common markets or aids to trade, we talk of common market, we talk about free flow of services, free flow of labor, free flow of production, reduction of the production cost. And over the years, Tanzania has even refused to allow Kenyans to go into Tanzania with just an ID card, of which this is something as East African community has been trying to propel forward. So let the heads of government try to patch their relation and trade will move smoothly. Yeah.
Talking about the East African community, it's not about the relation of Kenya and Tanzania only. We should also look at countries which are in conflict. Maybe Uganda and Kenya are friends, but Uganda and Tanzania may not be friends as such. We should look, maybe rethink of bringing back the East African community. Maybe we should have a regional bloc with free trade area, as Leila said. Maybe we should have Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and the East African community having free flow of people. People, if there's maybe an employment deficit in a certain country, you can go to Uganda and work freely. Maybe we should look forward to that. Maybe it will help the citizens of the individual countries, and maybe it will work to the better economies of the East African region at large.
Maybe that will happen because pia kulingana na habari ambazo pia nimeweza kuzipata leo asubuhi kutoka kwenye meza yetu ya utafiti inayoongozwa na Bi Ibtisam Jamal, pale ameweza kusema kuna wafungwa ambao walikuwa ni wa Kenya walioshikwa huko Tanzania, lakini wataweza kurejeshwa sasa kuja kuchukuliwa hatua hapa Kenya, kama ni kifungo kupewa hapa Kenya. Na pia tukikumbuka katika mafunzo yetu katika dini ya Kiislamu, Jibril alayhi salam used to kumsihi Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam wasallam kwamba apende sana majirani zake, na mtume aliwapenda sana majirani zake paka akahofia kwamba wataweza kumrithi. Kwa hiyo pengine hilo ni jambo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta anaweza kujifunza kutoka kwayo. Mwisho kabisa katika gazeti la Daily Nation tukimaliza ukurasa wa 21 pale, county workers warned of pay delays over revenue bill impasse. Now governors say local income is not enough to meet all their financial obligations. The stark reality of the stalemate brought about by the stalled mediation of division of revenue bill between the National Assembly and Senate hit hard yesterday after governors warned of delayed salaries. Last comments from all of you.
You know,
very quickly.
People in the government are very funny. Because yesterday, while watching Jeff Koinange live, the speaker of Nairobi County Assembly, she attested that she's not been paid since September last year. And I'm tempted to question, you talk about money being stolen from the county governments. Yet, the very people who are working for this county government are getting paid. Who is playing who?
I think the most important thing, while the government is fighting corruption, they still need to disperse the money at the regional level. It should not be a reason for them stopping money to flow there, because that will affect the services. Give them the money and then take action on them.
Abubakar, last comments very quickly.
I think despite having politicians, us demonizing politicians and people working for the county government and national government, I think everyone should be paid his dues. Yeah.
Okay, mtazamaji, tumeweza kusikia comments kutoka kwa wageni wetu wachanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa na vile vile sera. Usiondoke mtazamaji, na kusihi, manake pindi tutakaporegea muda usokuwa mrefu nitaweza kuanza kipindi Stay Healthy. Leo tunazungumzia masuala ya hepatitis, na bila shaka unaweza kuendelea kuungana nasi katika social media platforms zetu Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, ama vile vile utupate katika tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke. You are watching the premium Islamic TV station, coming closer to you now. See you in a short while.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
watu wanasimulia kwamba mmoja katika watu wenye ibada sana katika Banu Israel alikuwa kimomba Mwenyezi Mungu na Mwenyezi Mungu hamuitikii. Na sio kawaida, kwa sababu idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ud'uni astajib lakum. Huyu bwana akamuuliza mama yake, kwa nini mimi naomba na Mwenyezi Mungu haniitikii? Akamwambia, kwani unaomba vipi? Akamwambia, mimi naomba nazungumza nikiangalia juu, nikimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu yuko juu. Mamake akamwambia, hapo ndo unapokosea. Wewe omba na uso wako uko chini, omba na unyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia. Yule bwana akafanya hivyo, na polepole akaanza kupata yale mambo ambayo alikuwa akiyaomba kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
On the next episode,
kuna baadhi ya vizee siku hizi waliiyadhu billah, lakini yapo mzee miaka 60 70 iwazunguko, unamuona pengine ana vijisichana vidogo vidogo miaka 6 7, ana vitoto vya miaka 10 20, anaitwa sponsor. Mzee ana mvi, amekuja amevaa michain, ana chain za bling bling, amevaa vitu huku, mzee ametoboa kipuli. Hii si mzee ana hikma, huyu ni mzee mpuzi. Mzee ana hikma ni yule wa kuelekeza vijana barabara ambapo kwamba ni nzuri.
on the next episode,
kuvaa ihram haimaanishi kuwa umeingia katika ihram.
Makosa yanayofanywa wenye kufanya umra, wenye kufanya hija, kuna mmoja ana makasi kidogo hapa, kata hapa kidogo, kata hapa kidogo, kata hapa kidogo, punguza nywele ndugu yangu, hujafanya lolote hapo wewe. tuepukeni mambo haya tafadhali. Kupunguza nywele ni nyingi, upunguze ziwe ndogo, kichwa kizima.
Hajj pia ni communal ibada. Alhamdulillah, uko na nyumba yako, uko na kitanda chako na and so on so forth, lakini ibada ya Hajj ni watu wanafanya pamoja.
Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Is investing money in different companies like Coca-Cola, Nestle, etc. for profit and loss permissible or not? The one asking the question, brother or sister, I advise you not to invest in such companies. First and foremost, because by and large, these companies do invest and deal in haram. And it's not accepted to deal in a company that is dealing with haram. So my advice to you, and what the scholars, by and large, the mainstream of the scholars advises, it's not permissible for us to invest in such companies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa. You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Aro, wacha niongezee credit ingine ya shilingi 10 nikupigie sahi.
Ongeza ya ambao.
Mugaka gaki, yani unanipenda mpaka umeamua kuniongezea shilingi 10 ingine tu?
Hapana, siugwashe ukuongezea mapenzi ya 10, hata nikutunukie katoto kingine.
Tunuki kwa sasa iko na ofa mpya ya Credo Double. Piga *444*0#. Ukichagua ofa ya shilingi 10 utapata Credo ya 20. Ofa ya 20 utapata Credo ya 40. Ofa ya 50 utapata Credo ya 100 kwa network yoyote. Kumbuka ni *4*3*0#.
You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Quote of the day. Imam Malik bin Anas said, I am but a man. I make mistakes sometimes, and I am correct sometimes. So examine my opinions and accept anything that agrees with the book and sunnah, and leave anything that does not agree with the book and sunnah.
If a person is wearing a job ID card with his picture, and the card is about 1 inch in size, and he stands next to us or behind us in salah, would it affect our salah? This is similar to the previous question. No, brother or sister, it would not affect your salah. It would not invalidate it. Affecting your salah means with regards and respect to invalidating it. It will not nullify your salah. But if it's affecting your salah with regards and respect to distraction and like a bit of withering away your attention and concentration, then that is actually a means of distracting one's salah and his concentration. And this is not a small sin. A lot of people come with flashy clothes or clothes with animate pictures or clothes with jerseys, football jerseys people wearing. A lot of scholars do not advise this in salah, in particularly in salah. You have to wear decently so that you can concentrate fully in front of your Almighty. You're having a meeting and a spiritual chat with your Creator. It's a hotline, take it that way. So placing destructive objects or things and elements that will actually divert people's attention and their concentration, these are not accepted. And such a person should remove his job ID card and place it in his pocket, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Let's brighten up your morning. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Waswahili wanasema chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Hura na hii ni Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. On the next episode,
kuvaa ihram haimaanishi kuwa umeingia katika ihram.
Makosa yanayofanywa wenye kufanya umra, wenye kufanya hija, kuna mmoja ana makasi kidogo hapa, kata hapa kidogo, kata hapa kidogo, kata hapa kidogo. Hujapunguza nywele ndugu yangu, hujafanya lolote hapo wewe. Tuepukeni mambo haya tafadhali. Kupunguza nywele ni nyingi, upunguze ziwe ndogo, kichwa kizima.
Hajj pia ni communal ibada. Alhamdulillah, uko na nyumba yako, uko na kitanda chako na and so on so forth, lakini ibada ya hajj ni watu wanafanya pamoja.
On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anaaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani? Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahili kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Na mtazamaji, assalamu alaikum kwa mara nyingine tena, karibu tena katika kitengo cha pili cha The Sabah Show. Sasa unajiunga nami na kipindi Stay Healthy. Tuko hapa Bennett pamoja na madaktari wetu. Niko naye Asma Ali Awadh ambaye ni Sub County Medical Officer of Health, na vile vile ni naye Dr. Adil Shah kutoka Aga Khan ambaye ni Infectious Disease Specialist. Leo tunazungumzia swala zima la hepatitis. Mtazamaji, kumbuka unaweza kuungana nasi katika social media platforms zetu, Twitter, Instagram na Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, ama utupate katika tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke. Karibuni sana katika kipindi chetu.
Asante.
Moja kwa moja, maybe if I can start with you, Daktari Dr. Shah. Tell us what hepatitis is.
So hepatitis refers to inflammation of the liver. So where the liver gets diseased and it gets inflamed. So inflamed means it starts swelling up, or if there's some inflammation within the liver cells, and that causes liver dysfunction. So the liver is not functioning as it should normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does someone get hepatitis?
So hepatitis, there are very many causes of hepatitis, and they can range from infectious to autoimmune to drugs, medication, and even alcohol. So those are the main common causes, but more often infectious causes are the ones that we mostly see as the causes of hepatitis.
Maybe before I come to the other question, napata comments hapa. Prof Films anasema watching from Nairobi, na pia Luai Lui anasema streaming from Addis Ababa. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Endelea kutegea Horizon TV. Daktari, kuna wakati tulipokuwa tukifanya uchunguzi katika tafiti zetu, I got to realize there are many types of hepatitis. Kindly give us a brief onto them.
Okay, so as I mentioned, infectious causes are the most common causes of hepatitis, and they're mostly viral hepatitis. So in the viral hepatitis, we have 5 types of viral hepatitis, which are hepatitis A, hepatitis B, C, and D and E. And of those, the more common ones are hepatitis A and E, and then hepatitis B also is very common, and then C, not so much in Kenya, but then D is very rare. At least in our setting, in Kenya, we don't have that much hepatitis D.
Is there a difference in these infections between the different hepatitises and where someone is actually geographically located?
So the hepatitis A and E is mostly found in developing countries, and it's found where the sanitation is poor. So it's a disease found that is transmitted just purely because of poor sanitation, poor hygiene, and that's when you see that there are outbreaks occurring, and it's mostly found in developing countries, whereas in the developed world we don't see so much hepatitis A and E. But hepatitis B and C is mostly found, it's found actually worldwide, globally, and it's more associated with things that lead to risky practices, such as risky sexual practices, or contamination of needles, or things that hospital products, and also people who use drugs. So when they inject, the needles that they use for injecting the drugs get infected. And then lastly, it also occurs from mother to child. So that's hepatitis B. And then hepatitis C, similar to hepatitis B, but it's not so as common. It's mostly found actually with those who use drugs, and then also some transmission through risky sexual behavior. Yeah, but hepatitis A and D mostly with associated with poor sanitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can come to you, Madam Asma, you are a sub-county medical officer of health. What can you say are the statistics in Kenya right now of hepatitis as a disease?
I can't give you an actual figure, but we work mostly with the people who inject, what Dr. has talked about, and you find the commonest condition is Hep C, hepatitis C, and also Hep B. And we have about 6,000 in Nairobi, 6,000 people who inject drugs, and out of them, they're all screened. We have about, I think, like 60 of them. And for Hep B and for Hep C, we have 15 who have been treated. And the treatment is quite costly, because if you are to treat hepatitis C, it will cost about 120K per patient. Yes. So the treatment is quite costly, and so far we have treated about 15 of them. And statistic-wise, mostly we have hepatitis C and B because of the people who inject drug, and we also have, I know there was an outbreak of Hep A in Mombasa in 2016, but we don't find it a lot in Nairobi per se. So I can't give you a specified figure for Hep A, but it does come where poor sanitation is there. I've seen a few numbers and I've treated them personally. It's usually self-limiting, and it will just, you just have to do supportive treatments and voila, yeah.
Na mtazamaji, kumbuka kwamba unaweza kuchangia katika mada hii kupitia pia nambari yetu ya Arafa 21951 21951. Ukiangalia katika runinga yako hapo utaweza kuiona, ama katika mitandao yetu ya kurasa zetu za mitandao, kunradhi, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @Horizontv Kenya. Daktari, pengine nikikuuliza Dr. Shah, what are the symptoms that someone can get, when they have hepatitis?
Okay, so as we said, the different types of hepatitis present in different ways. So hepatitis A and E is more of a diarrheal illness.
Okay.
So where the patient will have actually more of symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting, and sometimes they can also have yellow eyes. So yellow eyes are usually indicative of there's something wrong with the liver. and that's when you kind of suspect that this might be hepatitis. So hepatitis A and E, we mostly see it in children, and that's why more often than not, 90% of the times, most children actually have gotten hepatitis A and E during their childhood, and then after that you don't see it. That's why in adults we don't, like as Dr. said, you actually don't see hepatitis A much later in adults. So because most of them have been exposed when they were children and they get immune to it in later life. Hepatitis B and C, it's also similar to hepatitis A, that you'll have a mild illness. Actually, it's the acute infection or the early infection. You'll have just similar symptoms like a flu. You'll have a fever, you'll feel weak, and you might have some vomiting and a bit of diarrhea. And then some of them get yellow eyes, not all of them. But it's initial illness. Majority actually might not even realize that they actually have hepatitis B or C.
If I can add on that, some can also present with a bit of abdominal pain, especially on the upper right side. And as what Dr. said, it's usually symptomatic, especially for Hep C. It can take up to 6 months, and you've been infected with it without knowing that you do have it.
Wow.
Yes, so there is a need of increasing surveillance and screening for high-risk members. Yeah.
And who are these high-risk members, now that you've mentioned them?
So the high risk, as we said, for hepatitis A and D, it's those who live in where there's poor sanitation and all, and where their hygiene practices are not good. But hepatitis B and C, it's those who, as we mentioned earlier, drug users. So those who are not practicing, who are sharing needles. And then healthcare workers are obviously at high risk because they're exposed to patients who are probably have the disease. And then in Kenya, we found that actually up to almost 10% of pregnant women have hepatitis B, are carriers of hepatitis B. So they might not even realize they might have hepatitis B, but they're carriers of it, and then they pass it on to the child. So ideally, we identified those 3 groups as the main risk factors for hepatitis B. So pregnant women, injection drug users, and then healthcare workers, or those who are come into contact with body fluids and blood products.
Na kwa nini mwanamke mjamzito yuko prone to hepatitis B or C? Why?
So as you say, I think we referred to it earlier that most of people get hepatitis B, but they don't realize they have it. So there's a statistic that almost 250, almost up to 300 million, the numbers have gone up, have chronic hepatitis B, means they are carriers of hepatitis B, but only 9 or 10% actually know that they have it. So you can imagine 90% of people don't know they have hepatitis B, and they're carrying the virus. So the only reason we know that pregnant women are at higher risk is because we test pregnant women during the pregnancy.
Okay.
It might be the same as the general population, the risk is not higher, but just because we know that now these pregnant women come with almost 1 out of every 10 is carrying hepatitis B.
Na mtazamaji unaweza kujiuliza kwa nini basi leo tukaweza kuchagua hepatitis B kuweza kuzungumzia. Ni kwa sababu kulingana na kalenda ya UN on the 28th, tarehe 28 mwezi huu wa Julai, it's the World Hepatitis Day, and according to WHO wanasema kwamba they are urging all countries and partners to promote the theme invest in eliminating hepatitis. Na ni kwa sababu pia kama unavyokusikia kutoka kwa madaktari ni kwamba wewe unaweza kuwa una hepatitis lakini hujui kwamba unayo na ina madhara. Pengine tungeanza na functions of the liver ndio mtu apate kuelewa. Lakini tutaweza kuja katika functions of our liver. Amesema kwamba most of the people aren't aware kwamba mtu ana hepatitis. Wewe unafanya kazi in the sub county level. Kama kulingana na tafiti mwaka wa 2015, around, as he said, 257 million people were diagnosed with hepatitis, and around 1 million of these people died because of hepatitis, and the rest that remained, only 10% were aware that they have hepatitis. What are you doing maybe at the county level to bridge this gap ya awareness, at least watu wapate kujua hepatitis ni gonjwa hatari na lazima tufanye kadha wa kadha ili tuweze kujikinga?
Yes. Now, as a county, as majority of people know, our governor has prioritized health as one of his key agenda. So we have several activities that are ongoing. First, we have about 50 healthcare workers have been trained on the current guidelines and policy on management of hepatitis, all hepatitis, B and C. And we are actually piloting a program on harm reduction. For the first time, we want to do integration of harm reduction services into the primary healthcare facility in a public setup, whereby we can have patients who inject drugs who are at high risk of hepatitis C to come in to the facility so that we can work with them, screen them, and also know if you have hepatitis, then we can link you to care. So far we've been having the centers within Nairobi, and I'll talk about Ngara, whereby we do diagnosis and treatment, and we've also partnered with Mathare as well, but we do linkage as well within the county hospital. So if we find you've tested positive, then we can link you either to Mama Lucy, Mbagathi for care. At the same time, we have, you've talked about Hepatitis Day. So we do have community entry. Whenever we have World Health Days that have been celebrated, we do have a function we hold to create awareness into the community. So our healthcare workers go down into the community, talk about hepatitis to different people in the community, and as well offer screening and talk about it so that people can know the signs and symptoms in case. What Dr. say, majority of the early signs are constitutional symptoms. These are symptoms which you can say they could be from another disease, yet it's hepatitis. So you find, once you are aware, you can say, oh, maybe I need to go and screen. Or somebody hear about it and realize I need to go and now have a screen. So we usually screen, and we advocate. We do vaccines boosters for Hep B, so that more of prevention is better than coming for treatment. So we do a lot of advocacy about people should be vaccinated against hepatitis, so that even when you're exposed, you have that immunity against the Hep B virus.
Currently in the country sahi, kuna kampeni ya polio na kuna kampeni ya measles.
Yes.
Kuna event yoyote ambayo pengine tengezo hapo na serikali ya county kwa sababu hepatitis? Manake 28th ni World Hepatitis Day.
Yes. Tunakuwa each and every health day, wacha hepatitis, even World AIDS Day, World TB Day, we always have the county meetup whereby we celebrate in this specific sub-county, and we have small ones within our own sub-county. Like I come from Westlands, so we'll have one in one of our informal settlements to discuss and create awareness and also test or screen patients. And once we screen and we find you are high risk, then we link you for testing, for diagnostic, and now in the event you are found positive, we link you to care.
Okay, kuna swali limeweza kuingia lakini nitaweza kurejea katika hili swali katika kitengo cha pili. Mtazamaji, wacha tuchukue mapumziko mafupi tupate tama la maji. Tutakaporejea tutaendelea kuzungumzia swala zima la hepatitis. Endelea kutuma comment zako on our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, na vile vile tovuti yetu www.horizontv.co.ke, na pia nambari yetu ya arafa 21951. Narejea muda usiokuwa mrefu.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
watu wanasimulia kwamba mmoja katika watu wenye ibada sana katika Banu Israel alikuwa akimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu na Mwenyezi Mungu hamuitikii. Na sio kawaida, kwa sababu idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ud'uni astajib lakum. Huyu bwana akamuuliza mama yake, kwa nini mimi naomba na Mwenyezi Mungu haniitikii? Akamwambia, kwani unaomba vipi? Akamwambia, mimi naomba nazungumza nikiangalia juu, nikimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu yuko juu. Mamake akamwambia, hapo ndo unapokosea. wewe omba na uso wako uko chini, omba na unyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia. Yule bwana akafanya hivyo, na polepole akaanza kupata yale mambo ambayo alikuwa akiyaomba kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
On the next episode,
kuna baadhi ya vizee siku hizi waliyadhu billah, lakini yapo mzee miaka 60 70 iwazunguko, unamuona pengine ana vijisichana vidogo vidogo miaka 6 7, ana vitoto vya miaka 10 20, anaitwa sponsor. Mzee ana mvi, amekuja amevaa michain, ana chain za bling bling, amevaa vitu huku, mzee ametoboa kipuli. Hii si mzee ana hikma, huu ni mzee mpuzi. Mzee ana hikma ni yule wa kuelekeza vijana barabara ambapo kwamba ni nzuri.
Quote of the day. Imam Malik bin Anas said, I am but a man. I make mistakes sometimes, and I am correct sometimes. So examine my opinions and accept anything that agrees with the book and sunnah, and leave anything that does not agree with the book and sunnah.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Na mtazamaji, unaendelea kutazama the premier Islamic TV station Horizon TV. Tunakujia kutoka katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi, hapa jengo la Jamia Mosque, ofisi zetu Horizon TV. Na tunazungumzia swala zima la hepatitis leo. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu on the 28th of July it is the World Hepatitis Day, na tunapania kuweza kupunguza cases za hepatitis in the country, in East Africa and Africa in general. Manake sisi huwa affected by a certain type of hepatitis. Daktari ndo ataweza kutuambia, lakini kabla hapo, doctor, please kindly outline to us some of the functions of the liver, because according to research I understand there are so many, possibly over 500, but what are some of the functions of the liver?
Yeah, so as you have rightly said, there are over 500 different functions that the liver performs. It is a very vital organ in the body, and you can summarize them or group them into three main categories. So the main primary function that we usually refer to is it clears toxins. It removes waste products, so that is one of the main functions. Yeah, it gets rid of a lot of toxins that we ingest orally, and other toxins that we might come into contact with. So those are primarily digested by the liver and they are excreted from the liver. Then the second function is in digestion. So it helps in digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, fats. It has a primary role in digestion. And then the third group of functions that we refer to is where it stores energy. So this is where now, especially like when you're fasting during the month of Ramadan, that's when the liver actually has a primary role, where the stored energy that we have, because you're not taking in other sources of energy, then the liver comes into action, and it now releases that energy for use when you need it, so that now you can continue functioning. Otherwise, you find that if you don't have those stores of energy, you actually will not be able to function normally. You will be having different problems, and you actually cannot, especially in children who have liver diseases, you will find that they have failure to thrive. They can't, they're not growing normally, and the other diseases that are associated with that. So primarily I would say that we have to, the main thing that we worry about is those elimination of toxins and waste products that the liver performs. And when you have liver injury or liver disease, that's when you actually know the first symptoms that come up are because of those, that you're not able to get rid of those toxins and wastes.
What are some of the symptoms that we may have not touched on in the first segment, the hepatitis?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the different hepatitis have different symptoms. Hepatitis A and E are, as we said, you'll have vomiting, diarrhea, you'll have a fever, you'll feel weak, then the yellowness of eyes and yellowness of skin can also occur, and because of that yellowness your urine will also turn yellow, and then just generalized symptoms, so nothing specific.
Yeah, so that's jaundice.
Yeah, the jaundice that we refer to, the yellowness of eyes, so it can be in the eyes, and can also, if it's severe, it can actually, you can also see it in the skin, and your skin becomes yellow as well. And if it continues, you actually also see it in the urine. The urine becomes more dark and you'll see the yellowness in the urine.
This means that toxins are now inside your blood.
So one of the products that we talk about, the bilirubin, which is a product of digestion of the red cell breakdown, which is cleared by the liver. Now that your liver is not clearing it properly, so now you start getting a buildup of that bilirubin, and it has to find a way out. So one of the ways is that now it starts being secreted in your urine, and now you see that color in your urine. And so when you see such signs, then we kind of know that this is because your bilirubin in your blood is probably high, and that then indicates that something is not going on right in your liver.
Kuna mwanadada hapa ananiuliza kwamba nini pindi ulipotaja tu hiyo bilirubin, anasema kwamba mimi nina mtoto wangu ambaye kinyesi chake kimeturn gray and it no longer has the color brown. Is it a symptom? Maybe if I can ask that, but ana mtoto mdogo.
Yeah, so that sounds like that there's the bilirubin is not being released into the stool, so there's some form of obstruction. So the liver, once it metabolizes the red cell breakdown, it then converts it into bilirubin, which then is passed out into the stool. And one of those, why you get the color in your stool is because of that bilirubin that has been converted. So if the mom is saying that the stool is becoming gray, then she needs to have that child taken to hospital as soon as possible and evaluated for what could be causing the obstruction.
Haya, Aisha pale umenitext kwenye Facebook, mwanao kinyesi chake kimebadilika, kimekuwa grey na hakina ile brown color as usual. Naomba kwamba possibly kuna blockage ya hiyo bilirubin ambayo inatokana na breakdown ya red blood cells in your liver, so kindly peleka mtoto hospitalini. Haya, tukiendelea daktari, what are some of the complications that come from hepatitis?
Okay, so the reason why we actually worry about hepatitis is more because of the complications and not so much the initial infection. So hepatitis A and E, as Dr. mentioned, is a very self-limiting disease. Majority of the times you just support them, give them some fluid, make sure they're eating well, drinking well, and they will clear the virus by itself. But hepatitis B and C, in about 15 to 18% of people who get the infection do not clear the infection. And they continue carrying it up to death. So that's what we call chronic carriers of the virus. And these who have chronic hepatitis or chronic hepatitis B and C, they develop, so as the virus continues to remain in their blood, it slowly means that the liver continues to slowly degenerate until your liver fails. And when you develop liver failure, then that is a very serious complication. And part of liver failure, also liver cirrhosis, so those two come together. And then one other big risk or complication of hepatitis B and C is hepatic cancer or hepatocellular cancer, which is majority of the times it's fatal. So once that develops, then you know that the chances of survival are almost nil. So that's why the main worry we have with getting hepatitis B and C are because of those two complications, where if you don't control the virus, your liver will eventually fail, or you get the hepatic cancer, and then that causes, which means that is a sign of sure death. Yeah.
Pengine kabla sijarudi kwako na hili swali la pili, kuna swali limeweza kuingia kwako Daktari Asma. Kuna mmoja anasema kwamba the conditions of how we take care of our sewage ni mbaya sana. Kuna sewages zenye zina flow outside of our houses. What can we do now that tunajua kwamba hepatitis is being caused by unsanitary conditions?
Actually, there's a vaccine for hepatitis A, and we always encourage for people to bring in children and also themselves to get vaccinated for hepatitis A. But we also have, there was a program that was done some few months ago, whereby we had all the workers who are handling the sewer system and the ones who go into the ditches to do the drainage, were all vaccinated for free so that they can prevent them getting the infection, then passing it on. The main reason when we talk about prevention on treatment becoming the prevention is if you do not prevent that index patient from getting the hepatitis infection, then you tend now to have other people coming in with the infection. So since the people who work at the drainage system and the sewer system need to be the first to actually have prevention, because they'll be going back to their family. So if they pick the infection, they will go now infecting other people within the community. And at the same time, personally, I will just urge people to actually come out, especially now it's hepatitis day.
Weekday, yeah.
They should come out and actually get vaccinated against hepatitis, both A and B. Yes.
Daktari, you talked about chronic hepatitis that comes from alcohol. Kindly explain some of the adverse effects that someone can get from drugs and alcohol usage.
So drugs and alcohol affect several parts of our body. Each drug has its own effect. I mean, they're different effects. If we focus mainly on alcohol, so alcohol is one of the most serious, actually we can even call it a drug. And initially it will it will affect your gut and intestines, and that's why you will see a lot of alcoholics have issues with vomiting and poor digestion. And then eventually, as you continue taking, your liver starts failing. So your liver is not functioning as it should. And on top of that, then you have it can lead to liver cirrhosis, where your liver starts shrinking and you're not producing the necessary enzymes that are necessary for your body to function. On top of that, alcohol affects other parts of your body. It can affect your brain, where your brain starts shrinking. You get affects the cerebellum, which is the posterior part of your brain, and that affects then their walking. That's why you find a lot of alcoholics actually are staggering. They don't have coordination. So alcohol has several effects, and majority of the times, those who start taking alcohol and they are not able to control it, they become dependent, and because of that dependency, then they get even further complications where they cannot even get off it because they get withdrawal symptoms. So in general, it has very serious side effects that it should be a topic on its own. Because
yes.
I can just add on what Dr. has said and just take you through the process. Non-infectious causes of liver hepatitis, especially where alcohol, drugs, and toxin. Because sometimes you find people have a tendency of ingesting drugs, overdose, or still also the PWDs as well. For alcohol and other toxins, you find it's more like a slow killer of the liver itself, whereby they go through process of alcoholic fatty liver into fibrosis. You see, immediately something comes in that irritates or cause inflammation of the liver, the liver also sort of try to protect itself. So there is a counter reaction that occurs, and with that counter reaction, there's something that happens. So you get alcoholic fatty liver disease. Then nothing is done. You don't stop. You continue ingesting whatever you're ingesting. So you go now to fibrosis, which it's basically just means a bit of scarring, because with inflammation, you tend to have ile kama kidonda kifanyika ukikatika inafanya kama kunini kuskaza. So you get scarring, that is what is fibrosis in the liver. And then now what doctor was talking about, you go to cirrhosis. We usually fear cirrhosis, especially if it's chronic cirrhosis of the liver, which is chronic. Because cirrhosis ni kama sasa, it's like there's a way that the liver is shrinking and it's forming noodles just on top. Ni kama inafanya mabonde ama mbalanga on top, which really compromise the function of the liver. And there are a lot of functions involving even the coagulation factors within the liver. So all these are affected. And once you reach cirrhosis and still nothing's been done, you're not stopping taking alcohol, you're still using the same drugs, which are, you're not detoxifying your body as well. So you go into now either hepatocellular carcinoma, or now you go to liver failure completely. So it is actually a slow progress that eventually you die as you're watching yourself dying.
Kuna comment hapa inaingia katika Facebook yangu, pengine timu yetu hapo, technical team yetu mnaweza kuangalia. Kuna watu wanasema kwamba wanajaribu kutuma SMSs kwenye hiyo SMS line yetu lakini hazifiki. Ila pengine nikiendelea, sijui kama bado muda ninao, director wangu, kuna swali limeweza kuingia. Kuna mmoja anasema kama pengine my liver itakuwa ina shrink, je, si kutakuwa na liver transplant?
So that's a very good question. Liver transplant is not the easiest thing to do or to get. And that is the last solution you have if your liver fails. In our country yet, we do not have the laws that enable us to do transplant because of certain medical issues. But in other parts of the world, these transplants are being done regularly. And yes, it is a solution, but it is not the easiest solution also. We have to remember that this is taking a part of someone else's body or organ and putting into your own body. So you have other reactions that can occur, other complications, and not always will that liver take. So you have to remember that unless you control the primary cause of that failure, if it is hepatitis, viral hepatitis, you have to first clear the infection. They will not give you a liver transplant if you still have the infection.
Actually, if I can add on what Daktari.
Just a little bit, when you'll come to add to that just after the break, na review kwamba muda ndio huo sasa umefika. Mtazamaji, wacha tuchukue mapumziko, na pia kuna swali limeweza kuingia. Tutakaporejea inshallah tutaweza kuendelea. Wacha tuchukue tamala maji, tutakaporejea tutaendelea na hepatitis.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
I am Aisha Khan. Let's brighten up your morning. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Waswahili wanasema chilea utapata mwana si wako. Kwa majina ni Muhammad Hura na hii ni Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
watu wanasimulia kwamba mmoja katika watu wenye ibada sana katika Banu Israel alikuwa kimomba Mwenyezi Mungu na Mwenyezi Mungu hamuitikii. Na sio kawaida, kwa sababu idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qarib ud'uni astajib lakum. Huyu bwana akamuuliza mama yake, kwa nini mimi naomba na Mwenyezi Mungu haniitikii? Akamwambia, kwani unaomba vipi? Akamwambia mimi naomba nazungumza nikiangalia juu. Nikimwomba Mwenyezi Mungu yuko juu. Mamake akamwambia hapo ndo unapokosea. Wewe omba na uso wako uko chini. Omba na unyenyekee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia. Yule bwana akafanya hivyo na polepole akaanza kupata yale mambo ambayo alikuwa akiyaomba kutoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.
Naam, shukran sana mtazamaji kwa kuendelea kutegea Horizon TV. Unatizama Stay Healthy. Kipindi hewani ni The Sabah Show, nami wako Mariam Mwacharo. Tumeweza kuzungumza na madaktari wetu hapa kuhusiana na swala zima la hepatitis, na tumeweza kujua kwamba kuna types nyingi za hepatitis A, B, C, na unajua kwamba unaweza kuwa na hepatitis bila wewe mwenyewe kugundua kwamba unao huu ugonjwa wa hepatitis, na madhara yake ni makubwa hata kuweza kufikia kwa kufa kwako. Tunaendelea na discussion yetu. Kabla hatujachukua break, you wanted to add something to the doctor's point?
Yeah, what I wanted to add is the fact that getting a right donor is quite a difficult case, because even the transplant has its own complication that comes along, because there's body immunity. What Dr. Inisha had talked about autoimmune, it whereby the body try to fight against itself. So if you bring anything new, the body will try to fight it. So we have to suppress immunity for us to transplant. Yes, and getting that right donor and who will come and donate, that is another issue. So I think the main way we should go is more of prevention rather than waiting for us to actually go for a transplant.
Yeah, unaziba ufa kabla hujajenga ukuta. Waswahili wanavyosema.
Pesa si mingi.
Si nyingi?
Pesa si mingi Kenya.
Haya, kuna swali limeweza kuingia. According to statistics, which is true, according to statistics, drug abuse and alcohol in Kenya is a big problem. So kweli tufanye nini, kwa sababu you know hepatitis can actually lead someone to actually die because of cirrhosis?
Now, what you have said, the statistics are there that alcohol abuse and also drug abuse is quite a huge problem within our community, especially where Nairobi and Mombasa is concerned. And you find the only way out is for us to have a lot of community forum, create awareness and advocacy, and sort of educate the young group about the effect of alcohol against them. I talked about the integration of harm reduction services within the public health, primary health facility, so that we can actually have people who inject drug coming in early. We get to screen them and also give them the vaccine to prevent this from going. And once we have people coming into the facility. For the healthcare workers, it's easy for now to actually talk. We still go to the community. Personally, I've gone with my team several times for different occasions to talk, to create awareness within the community about the infectious diseases that are existing. But we need also them to come in. So I think this pilot program we are having in Westlands sub-county will really help for us to actually bridge that gap and reach the community even more and deeper. So we need to sort of educate and create awareness about alcohol effect on the liver.
And drugs.
Yeah.
Daktari, you talked about someone getting hepatitis from, you know, hospital equipment like injection. Now, what do we do for us ladies who go and get ear piercings, you know, nose piercings? What about that?
So remember, we talked prevention is better cure than actually going for cure. So in terms of prevention, this is actually one of the risk groups that has been identified. People who get piercings, even body tattoos and other forms of so we usually list them in a way that do not expose yourself to risk. So the main way of doing that is, first of all, avoid things that will expose you to blood. So things like, do not share razor blades, do not share toothbrushes. Especially we have found there are some cases where children who live with elderly people who are have hepatitis, they have actually got transmission just because they go and use the toothbrush. So those are things that we need to make people more aware, that do not share such things that can carry blood. And then when you go to the barber, to the salon, then also make sure that the equipment has been sterilized, and they're not reusing anything that could possibly have blood on it. So like especially when you go to the barber, if you're sending your children, make sure that they use clean, sterile procedures. They're not reusing blades, because that is actually a very high risk of transmission of the hepatitis virus. And then those who get body piercings, ear piercings and tattoos, they have been advised generally do not get piercings. But if you want ear piercings, that is fine.
That is like a major cultural thing in our community.
If you must have an ear piercing, then make sure you know where you're getting it from. Check what are the sterilization procedures, and that they are not using any equipment that can be contaminated. Yeah, because if you're going to a dodgy place, then besides hepatitis virus, there's HIV virus.
Yes.
There are other risks. So do not expose yourself to harm. Practice good, be safe in your practices. So when you want to have such piercings, go to a reputable place, know where you know that they're using good procedures, and you're not going to some corner in some street where you don't know what they're doing and they're just piercing. So we generally say, it's your own body, take care of it.
Yeah. Kabla tujaendelea na hizo preventive measures, mara nyingi huwa tunakuwa hapa kwenye studio, mtazamaji, tunazungumza kuhusiana na masuala mazima ya usafi, na kila siku mimi huweza kukumbusha kwamba katika Uislamu, katika hadithi tunaambiwa al-Islamu nadhif fatanadhafu wala yadkhulu al-janna illa an-nadhifa. Muislamu ni mtu msafi, basi nawe jisafishe, kwani hakuna atakayeingia peponi isipokuwa yule ambaye ni msafi. Kwa hiyo kama wewe unakwenda kudungwa masikio, ama unachukua any piercing, ama umekwenda mahali ambapo kutatumika hizi needles, pengine katika kinyozi kule wanakonyolewa kaka zetu, angalia sana zile equipments ziwe sterilized, at least you do not get these infections, na pia hepatitis ambayo we have seen it can be detrimental. What are some of the preventive measures that we can take to curb hepatitis in the country, Daktari? Okay, so, and then to you.
Yes, so I like what you started with, hygiene. Hygiene is the most important. Yeah, and just besides hepatitis, many numerous illnesses are prevented by good hygiene. And hygiene is not only for when you're in hospital, it's also when you're at home and when you're at work. So there are numerous opportunities to practice hygiene. And so every time you go to the washroom, before, after, wash your hands. When you're going to eat food, make sure you wash your hands before and after. When you're going to cook food, make sure you wash your hands. When you go to the supermarket and you touch vegetables, or you go to the market, after that wash your hands. Because we are constantly touching things. They say that actually in a minute we probably touch our eyes, our nose and our mouth up to 25 times without even knowing we're touching them.
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute. So you can imagine when you touch something and then you touch your eyes, you touch your nose, you touch your mouth, you're introducing germs there. So if every time we touch and we introduce germs, that means your body is constantly being exposed to these things. So if we practice good hand hygiene, that means we reduce our transmission rate by almost 99%.
Wow.
Of most illnesses.
Just hygiene.
Just hygiene. And just wash your hands with soap. The standard ways of washing means that...
Exactly, that was my next question. What is the proper technique? Kwa sababu kuna ile unafungua mfereji, unatoka. Yeah.
So
how do you properly
wash your hands? This is now for the common, when you're at home, for the common person, is make sure first you open the tap, wash your hands with, just wet your hands, and then take the soap, usually a soap gel, and then rub your hands so that you lather, form like a lather, yes, and then you scrub. And scrubbing should be for at least 20 seconds. So scrubbing, you scrub first like this, then you scrub the top of your hands, then in between your fingers, and then your nails like this, and this you should do for 20 seconds at least.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't have are able to measure 20 seconds, then just roughly estimate that, have I done adequate scrubbing, and then rinse with water, close the tap, and then use a paper towel or air dry. Those are, it'll clear most of the germs.
Okay, kwa hiyo kwa wale kina mama zetu ambao wanapika pika pale akimaza kosha, anafanya hivi, unafanya hivi, unaacha tabia hiyo, manake bado utakuwa una introduce germs back into your hands. What else?
Dr. has mentioned majority of the preventive measures, but for me, I will emphasize on vaccination. That it's good to actually get vaccines. We do give babies the Hep B vaccine when they're babies, and for adults they can get the boosters so that they can prevent from getting the infection. So the vaccines are available for Nairobi County residents. They can always access these vaccines. At the same time, we talked about hepatitis B and C. Hepatitis B has a high transmission also via sexual intercourse. For C to a smaller extent, but still also practicing safe sex and also informing a partner if you tested positive for hepatitis. And for what we are doing for the people who inject drugs, IV drug user, we do the needle and syringe program whereby we do not allow them to share the syringes to also prevent the infection from spreading from one another as well.
Kuna swali limeweza kuingia, kuna mmoja ananiuliza, je, if I am an adult, can I get hepatitis now?
Hepatitis B, yes.
Yes. Aya, kama wewe ni mtu mzima, yes, you can get hepatitis when you're an adult. Ndio maana hata tunazungumzia swala hili na tunasema you also practice, safe hand hygiene. Haya. Alafu pale kuna mmoja mwanadada anauliza, kama umekwenda hospitali and you're doing a blood transfusion, how do you make sure that you cannot be infected?
Most of the blood, once somebody donates blood, they go through a series of screening. So one of the routine screen is, apart from HIV, is also hepatitis, because it's a blood and blood products transmitted. So any blood that has gone through the blood units, they usually screen for hepatitis as well.
Okay. Alafu kuna mwanadada hapa anauliza, Saida Abud anauliza, why does jaundice affect mostly premature newborns?
That's a good question, because when you're premature, it means your liver is not functioning as normal. So remember, by the time the baby is being born, it has spent about 40 weeks in the mother, and that time allows all the organs to slowly get to the right age for maturity, and that when they're born, then those organs can start functioning. But when they're premature, especially the more premature babies, the liver is not almost functioning at a minimal rate. And as I said before, one of the functions of the liver is to clear the red cell. When the red cells break down, one of the products is bilirubin. And that bilirubin is what gives you the color of jaundice. That yellowness, that's what it happens. And in newborns, in the premature, it's actually it can be a sign of danger.
Okay.
And if
it's even in adults, we have something called hepatic encephalopathy, whereby bilirubin it can actually bypass the blood-brain barrier, going to affect the brain itself. So that's why in premature baby and also baby who develop jaundice in early life, you'll find it's become a concern for us, and we tend to check serial bilirubin level to actually prevent damage to the brain and causing a disability in a child. So for premature, as what Dr. has said, it is really actually important and utmost for that parent who has noted the child has jaundice to take this child for.
Okay, simple yes or no question answer hapa. Mwisho kabisa, kuna mmoja anauliza, do you think it is important for couples to get tested for hepatitis B and C before marriage?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Haya, nikisoma tu comments zetu za mwisho pale YouTube, naona Said Abud pale amesema good educative topic there on hepatitis, thank you. Bwana Ali pale anasema nice show, thank you very much. Louis anasema proud of you, thank you very much. Shukran sana mtazamaji kwa kuweza kutuma comments zako, maswali yako pia vile vile katika social media platforms zetu, na shukran sana kwa madaktari wetu. Bila shaka mtazamaji, nimeweza kuwa nawe muda wote huu, natumai umeweza kujifunza mawili matatu kuhusiana na swala zima la hepatitis, na dumisha usafi. usafi. Ni sunna pia tunaambiwa na Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam kwamba ni sunna unapofika nyumbani kwako, first thing wash your hands. Natumia ile proper hand washing technique ambayo tumeweza kuelezewa na daktari. Kufikia hapa natamatisha kipindi chetu cha Stay Healthy katika The Sabah Show. Mtazamaji, nimefurahi sana kuweza kuwa nawe. Endelea kutegea Horizon TV kwa vipindi vinginevyo murwa, na pia natoa shukrani zangu kwa madirekta wangu vile vile, na director msaidizi pale Bibi Saida ameketi pale, na crew nzima, camera and everybody ambaye ameweza kunifanikishia show yangu ya leo, na producer wangu pia Mohamed Shakombo. Shukran sana kwenu nyote, na shukran kwa madaktari zangu. Mtazamaji, hapo kesho ungana naye Aisha Khan akizungumzia masuala moto moto katika jamii yetu. Paka sasa, maasalam, insha Allah taonana siku nyingine wiki ijayo siku kama hii.
Na kwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. You're watching the Sabah Show
on Horizon TV.